Taylor Swift brought a special guest to cheer on Travis Kelce and the Kansas City Chiefs. On Saturday, January 18th, the Cruel Summer singer was joined by WNBA star Caitlin Clark at Arrowhead Stadium to watch the Chiefs beat the Texans in a playoff game.
What if I told you that Caitlin Clark, the face of women's basketball, just showed up next to Taylor Swift at a Kansas City Chiefs game? Yeah, you heard that right. Two of America's biggest icons, one from the court and one from the stage, sitting side by side in front of a packed Arrowhead Stadium. Cameras caught it, fans lost their minds, and social media went into complete meltdown mode. This wasn't some random celebrity crossover either. Caitlin Clark didn't just wander into Chiefs Kingdom by accident. This moment, caught in a 15-second clip that's already gone viral, might be one of the most unexpected power moves of the entire year. Because for the first time, the worlds of pop culture, football, and women's basketball collided in one frame. And in the middle of it all, there's Caitlin Clark, calm, smiling, and completely unfazed by the chaos around her.
We know you're a Swiftie. We know you're a Chiefs fan. Will Travis and Taylor be coming to a game this season?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, I hope so. I mean, they're also living, I feel like they're on a nice in vacation mode right now. So I hope they enjoy a nice little break out of the spotlight, but I'm sure they'll be cheering for the Fever either way.
But this moment didn't just happen out of nowhere. In fact, the clues were there all along if you knew where to look. Because just a week ago, Caitlin Clark had everyone in Indiana questioning her loyalty. And that's where this story really begins. Just a week before she was spotted at the Chiefs game, Caitlin Clark was standing center field at Lucas Oil Stadium, being honored by the Indianapolis Colts. The crowd cheered, cameras flashed, and yet, somehow, people found something to complain about. Because instead of rocking a Colts jersey like most expected, Caitlin showed up wearing a simple neutral outfit. No logo, no team colors. And instantly, the internet had questions. Why isn't she repping her city? Is she too big for Indiana now? Does she even care about the Colts?
Make sure you listen to Life of a Showgirl tonight, and yeah. Make sure you listen to Life of a Showgirl tonight, and yeah.
The comments came flying in, painting her as distant Hollywood, even disconnected from the hometown that made her. But in reality, there was a much bigger story hiding behind that outfit choice. Because what nobody realized was that Caitlin Clark already had plans for the next weekend. Plans that would have her not just sitting courtside, but standing shoulder to shoulder with Taylor Swift and the entire Kelce family. When she skipped the Colts jersey, she wasn't snubbing Indiana. She was simply staying neutral before stepping into a whole new spotlight. A bigger one that reached far beyond basketball or even the WNBA. And looking back now, that move suddenly makes perfect sense. Caitlin wasn't turning her back on the Colts. She was walking straight into the biggest crossover moment of her career. Because when you find out how Caitlin Clark ended up connected to Taylor Swift and the Kelce family, you'll realize this moment was never an accident. It was months in the making. Here's the part most people don't know. Caitlin Clark didn't just stumble into Taylor Swift's circle.
Photos published from the game, the two women were seen sitting next to each other, watching intently as they appear to whisper to one another. Plus, the global superstar was photographed jumping up and down and clapping when Travis scored a touchdown.
Their paths were already crossing long before that Chiefs game ever kicked off. Sources close to both sides say that the Kelce family has been huge fans of Caitlin since her Iowa days. Jason Kelce's wife, Kylie, reportedly mentioned Caitlin's name during a charity event earlier this year, calling her the kind of athlete you want your daughters to look up to. And when Caitlin was drafted to the WNBA, that admiration only grew stronger. Then there's the brand overlap. Both Caitlin and Taylor are backed by massive sponsors: Nike, Gatorade, and even Wilson, brands that love moments where culture and sports collide. Travis Kelce himself has joked on his podcast about wanting to meet Caitlin after seeing her highlights blow up online. So when you piece all that together, her being at that game doesn't feel random. It feels strategic.
As a Kansas City Chiefs fan, how long will Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift last?
We're gonna get married. You heard it here first.
Taylor Swift is known for curating her inner circle carefully. Every person around her represents something: power, influence, or authenticity. And Caitlin Clark checks every box. She's America's sweetheart in sneakers, someone who's changed women's sports without ever losing her humility. So when the cameras finally panned across that luxury suite, Taylor laughing, Travis talking with family, and Caitlin Clark sitting comfortably beside them, it wasn't just another celebrity sighting. It was a quiet announcement to the world that Caitlin had officially entered a different level of fame. And then came the moment that sealed it all. A 15-second clip that exploded across the internet and turned this simple game day into global news. It happened fast. Just one camera pan during the Cheifs versus Lions broadcast. The crowd was roaring, the music was blasting, and suddenly, the big screen showed Taylor Swift waving to fans. Right beside her, none other than Caitlin Clark, smiling, clapping, and chatting like they'd been friends for years.
Motivation. Why do you think the NFL is doing that since you so believe they're doing it?
Well, Taylor Swift does airs.
So you're blaming Taylor Swift?
Well,
you're blaming Taylor Swift and the Swifties?
Caitlin Clark, who knows that
Oh my God.
Caitlin Clark.
A little over the top for you?
I mean, hold on now,
Are you
Steve.
conspiracy theories
Steve,
all the way
Steve,
through?
Caitlin Clark. We watched Caitlin Clark for months, years.
Within minutes, that short clip was everywhere. ESPN replayed it. MZ posted it. SportsCenter couldn't stop talking about it. And social media? It absolutely erupted. On X, hashtags like hashtag Caitlin and Taylor, hashtag Chiefs Kingdom, and hashtag Swift Clark started trending worldwide. Some fans were joking, saying, Caitlin's already in the wedding party. Others claimed, this is the most powerful duo in America right now. Even NFL fans who barely knew who Caitlin was started Googling her name. It was that rare electric pop culture moment, the kind you can't plan, but everyone talks about. And the wild part? Caitlin didn't do anything dramatic. She wasn't trying to steal attention or pose for cameras. She was just herself, calm, grounded, present. While Taylor waved to fans, Caitlin clapped politely, chatting with people around her like a normal 23-year-old. But that calm energy, that authenticity, made her stand out even more. Because in a world full of forced celebrity moments, this one felt genuine.
She was also joined by her parents, Andrea Swift and Scott Swift, as well as brother Austin Swift, who were pictured alongside her as well. The pop star's outing with Caitlin comes just over a month after the basketball star was named Times Athlete of the Year, in which she revealed to the publication that she had been invited by the all-too-well singer to attend a Chiefs game with her.
It wasn't about image. It was about two women at the top of their fields, sharing space naturally. No PR scripts, no filters, just mutual respect. But as the internet kept dissecting every frame of that viral video, something else was happening behind the scenes. Caitlin was quietly making history on the court just hours earlier. Because while the world was talking about who she was sitting next to, real fans knew what she'd done the night before, and it was legendary. Before Caitlin Clark ever stepped into Arrowhead Stadium, she'd already lit up the internet for something completely different: her performance on the court. Just a day earlier, she put on a shooting clinic that reminded everyone why she's one of the most electrifying players in basketball, period. Pat Bowen, a well-known Fever analyst, posted the breakdown online, and the numbers were ridiculous. Caitlin's made threes came from 34 feet, 31 feet, 28 feet, and multiple from 27 feet out. For context, the WNBA three-point line sits at just 22 feet. She wasn't just shooting from deep, she was launching from another area code. Fans were stunned. Even NBA players reposted the clip, calling her range unreal and Steph-like. But for Caitlin, this wasn't luck. In her own words, she said, "That's kind of where I like to get too early. See the ball go through the hoop, build confidence." She didn't talk about highlights or fame. She talked about rhythm, recovery, and composure. That's Caitlin Clark in a nutshell, obsessed with the craft, not the noise. And yet, that's what makes this moment so powerful. One night, she's draining 30-footers against New York. The next, she's sitting beside the most famous pop star in the world. It's like watching two universes collide, basketball and pop culture, merging around one person who somehow makes both look effortless. But there's something even deeper going on here. Because what Caitlin said after that game about leadership, trust, and staying locked in explains why so many people connect with her, even beyond the court.
After she went to back-to-back Eras Tour shows in Indianapolis, which took place in early November. While at the concert, Caitlin had met the artist's mother and boyfriend, Travis Kelce, also sharing that she received, quote, 4 bags of Eras Tour merchandise with a personalized note from Taylor, who said it was inspiring to watch Caitlin from afar.
And it's in that post-game interview where you start to see who Caitlin Clark really is. Not just a superstar, but a leader built for the spotlight. After that explosive performance, Caitlin Clark didn't brag. She didn't gloat. She sat down in front of reporters and gave one of the calmest, most grounded interviews you'll ever hear from an athlete at her level. When asked how it felt to knock down those deep threes, she simply smiled and said, "It felt good." That's kind of where I like to get to early. It builds confidence. No ego, no chest beating, just pure love for the game. Reporters pressed her about fatigue and rust, but she brushed it off. She admitted she felt a little tired, but gave full credit to her coaches and medical team for keeping her in shape while she recovered. That humility struck a chord with fans. In an era where athletes often chase headlines, Caitlin was busy giving credit to the people who helped her behind the scenes. Then came the moment that really defined her mindset. Instead of talking about herself, she praised her teammates, especially Sophie Cunningham, who finished the game at plus 31 and helped lead the Fever's second-half comeback. Caitlin said, "I'm really proud of Sophie. She was a big part of that run." That's leadership. Quiet, confident, selfless. It's the same quality that people see in Taylor Swift, someone who commands global attention, yet never forgets to lift up the people around her. Maybe that's why these two connected so naturally. They both built empires not on arrogance, but authenticity. And just when you thought her humility couldn't shine any brighter, Caitlin had one final surprise waiting. This time, from the other side of the world. Because what happened next proved that Caitlin Clark's influence isn't just American anymore, it's global. Moments after the press conference wrapped up, a reporter from Hong Kong stood up and delivered a message that stunned everyone in the room. He told Caitlin that 5 fans had flown over 22 hours from Hong Kong just to watch her play in person. 22 hours, across continents, for a regular season WNBA game. Caitlin's reaction said it all. Her eyes widened, she smiled in disbelief, and she said, "No way. That's incredible." Then, without hesitation, she added, "Tell them thank you for coming." It wasn't a PR-trained response. It wasn't a rehearsed line. It was pure shock and gratitude, the kind of human moment that reminds you why fans love her in the first place. Because this isn't just a basketball player anymore. Caitlin Clark has become a global phenomenon. From Iowa gyms to Gainbridge Fieldhouse, from YouTube highlight reels to international broadcasts, people everywhere see something in her that transcends sports. In Hong Kong, Tokyo, and even across Europe, fan pages have popped up dedicated solely to her WNBA highlights. Clips of her deep threes rack up millions of views overnight. She's not just representing the Indiana Fever, she's representing possibility. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Taylor Swift fills stadiums with music. Caitlin Clark fills them with momentum. Both draw massive crowds, both inspire global devotion, and both remind people, especially young women, that you can chase greatness and still stay true to yourself. But this connection between them, this single moment at Arrowhead, might mean far more than a viral headline or a photo op. It might be the blueprint for how women's sports finally break into the mainstream spotlight. Because when two icons like this sit side by side, it's not just celebrity energy, it's business, culture, and history all colliding at once. Let's be real, this wasn't just a feel-good celebrity sighting. When Caitlin Clark and Taylor Swift appeared together, it sent shockwaves through the business world too. Because what you just witnessed was the most valuable crossover moment of 2025. Think about it. Two of the most marketable women in America, each representing billion-dollar industries, sports and music, sitting side by side on national television. Within hours, clips from that Cheifs game generated millions of impressions. But here's the crazy part. Brands were already cashing in. Caitlin's partnership with Nike, Wilson, and Gatorade perfectly aligns with Swift's empire of partnerships that includes Capital One, NFL coverage, and even Apple. That night, those companies got exposure that money literally can't buy. The synergy was instant, and everyone noticed. Sports analysts are already calling this the start of a new era of cross-promotion. Because let's face it, Caitlin Clark isn't just a WNBA star anymore. She's a cultural connector. The bridge between basketball, celebrity, and the next generation of fans. And Taylor Swift? She knows exactly what she's doing. Every public move she makes turns into a media event, and this one was no exception. For her, aligning with Caitlin isn't just friendship. It's a nod to the next phase of women's empowerment in sports. That's why this wasn't random. It was symbolic. It represented everything that's changing in real time. women owning their platforms, rewriting narratives, and driving attention without waiting for mainstream approval. And yet, through all of this, the fame, the cameras, the business, Caitlin Clark somehow stays the same. Which brings us to the most important part of this story. At the end of the day, this wasn't just a viral sighting or another celebrity headline. This was a cultural moment, the kind that quietly shifts how people see women's sports forever. Because Caitlin Clark isn't chasing fame. Fame is chasing her. She didn't show up at that Cheifs game looking for attention. She became the attention. She's proof that authenticity still wins. That you can dominate your craft, stay humble, and still end up sharing a suite with one of the most famous women on earth. Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark represent two sides of the same coin. One built her empire through music and storytelling. The other built hers through hard work, composure, and record-breaking performances. And together they've created something bigger, a new kind of power, one rooted in influence, respect, and connection. From Iowa to Kansas City, from college arenas to NFL stadiums, Caitlin Clark's journey has never been about the spotlight. It's been about showing what happens when you stay true to yourself no matter how bright the lights get. So maybe this wasn't just a friendship moment. Maybe it was a glimpse into the future, where women in sports and entertainment don't just exist in the same space, they own it. And as fans keep debating whether Caitlin Clark will actually be in Taylor Swift's wedding, one thing's already clear. She's earned her seat at the table. Drop a fire in the comments if you think this duo just made history, because something tells me this is only the beginning.